obviously making aware about the university's reaction. I, like many, was most appalled at the way that the UC kind of handled it. So much so that I briefly flirted with the idea of denouncing my degree from my own life. And I thought, oh, well, Dr. Flanagan gave it to me, so I probably shouldn't do that. That said, could you comment, and maybe this speaks to Fred's opening anecdote, about in your time since '68, the trajectory of academic freedom on campuses across Canada? Obviously, the social media factor mitigates, but do you see that it's trending in any direction? Could you make such a blanket statement based on that?
Yeah. You know, I don't. Like, I've been a pain in the ass around the university for a long time, and I'm sure presidents have gotten tired of issuing statements that Dr. Flanagan speaks only for himself and does not speak to the university for the university. And I can't tell you how many times I have said something that somebody found to be outrageous.
That one was already in the door. That one could have been pulled out again.
Yeah, and that's what I thought they would do.
Yeah.
I thought they would issue the typical anodyne news release. So I didn't even think about it. So I was really blindsided. I have been told, I don't know that it was really the president herself who wanted to write the release as is. I can't prove that, I just have been told that. At first I wanted to think that it was not so much the president as the fact that the modern university has become so enormously bureaucratized. There's now such a layer of non-academic administrators around a university president. I mean, you've got your human relations specialist, your fundraisers, the PR specialist, the equity advisor, the women's issues advisor. There are all of these people kind of insulating the president from contact with faculty and students. And so I sort of assumed that that was the environment in which this news release was cooked up. But other people have told me, no, it was actually the president herself. Why that would be, I don't know, because I thought I had been through this story many times in the past, and that was the last thing I expected would be that the university itself would turn against me. But when you look at university landscapes around the country, there are issues of academic freedom and free speech almost everywhere. They take different forms in different places. Sometimes it's like what Fred described, shouting down speakers on campus. At the University of Calgary, there's been a long-running issue about whether the pro-life club can put up posters once a year for an exhibition. There's all kinds of issues. Universities are in court all the time over these issues. Trying to remember whether these issues existed when I started my career. I don't remember them being a big deal. Like I perhaps started at I'm young enough that I wasn't part of the whole McCarthy scare when people were being hounded out of academia because they were allegedly communists. I knew people like that, but I didn't experience that myself. So when I started teaching, the climate for expression seemed to be pretty free, and these other trends have gradually developed. But this is the first time it ever came to affect me personally. As you would know, having been a student of mine, I probably said a lot of crazy things in the classroom, but students always seemed to take it in the spirit in which it was intended. So I never had a problem until recently. So it hasn't really stifled my career, but I can see that there are growing problems, so I'm just sort of thinking out loud about it because I haven't made a special study of it. But certainly from what I read from a lot of universities, there are real problems of thought control in the classroom, and professors being prevented from teaching what they would like to teach, or students being prevented from asking the questions that they would like to ask. I don't think our climate, you were a student at the U of C for several years. Did you ever experience that kind of climate in the classroom yourself?
I had that painful objectivist tendency, so anytime I mentioned I ran in a philosophy class, I was laughed at largely, which which I thought was unfair insofar as she says some more rigorous thinking than a lot of the dribble I was supposed to be. So,
Yeah. But did it ever go beyond that?
I did have one professor that asked me to stand up and explain why it would be okay for white supremacists to come and speak to a crowd if the building was privately owned. There was much snickering. How on earth was this girl going to justify such a ridiculous idea? And the teacher, the professor, asked me to do that in a class. I found that rather. I think I argued the case well, but it was an exercise in attempting to belittle and sort of humiliate a
Yes.
legitimate.
I would say so. Yeah. Okay.
That's just off the top of my head.
Yeah. Okay. Well, interesting. Yeah. Anyway, all I can say is, in my 45-year career up to this last point, I honestly don't feel that I ever had a problem of suppression of ideas that was affecting me personally.
Do you have one more question, Rod?
Just a very short statement that Rob Ford's name should have an asterisk at the back of it, and the asterisk that should then refer to Minister George Zimmerman was a cocaine addict for most of his ministerial time, and he ran up debts which we will be paying off in tens of billions of dollars.
Okay, that being said, I'd like to thank Tom for a great evening, and so let's thank Tom. And please join us outside for a reception and some food, and Tom will autograph your book. So thank you very much for coming.
Well, thank you for it. I should say that Fred was one of the first to offer assistance when he learned I was doing the book, and he offered to make this venue available, so I'm very grateful for that.
Good, thank you.